we're going to be replicating the gorgeous paisley / damask kind of carpet look that's on the runway at the moment. That's coming up for the pre-fall season. It's beautiful. It's got just lovely rich colours in it, and most of the designs you'll see are really quite complicated. So what we'll do today is the look will end up looking quite complicated, but obviously we'll break it down and go through it so that you can replicate it at home. The first thing I'm going to do obviously is get my base colour on my nails. Today I'm going to be using two China Glaze blues. One is an old Christmas one called Bluebell's Ring, and the other one is Scandalous Shenanigans. So they're going on 2 fingers. And last but not least is OPI, My Vampire is Buff. So this will give us a really nice, rich background to build on. Alrighty, I'm going to go away and get my nails painted. We'll come back and we'll do some stamping. Okay, so I'm back. I've got My Vampire is Buff from OPI on these two. I've got Bluebell's Ring on my thumb and index finger. And my ring finger, I've got Scandalous Shenanigans. So they're my base colours. Now they're all fairly solid sort of colours. There's no multichromes or anything. So we need to just add a layer to break those colours up. The first layer I'm going to add is... the first image I'm going to use is of Bridal Nail 02. It's this one here. So it's a fairly full coverage pattern, and it's got lots of swirls, which will bring out that beautiful sort of tapestry feel to it. Now on the blue nails, I'm going to be using Rusty Nail from Hit the Bottle Polish. This is a beautiful sort of reddy rusty colour, which fits in really well with what's on season and in trend at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, stamping tools wise, just my plain old Messy Mansion scraper and my rectangular stamper that's reasonably soft. So I'll go and do that. So this is just going to go on the blue nails, over the blue nails, just to give them a bit of variety and richness to the look. And because we just want something a little bit hippie, a little bit boho, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. So there's my image. Stamp that on. Okay. So I'm not even going to bother cleaning the plate because I do want something that's fairly irregular, so it doesn't really matter if it doesn't pick up the image perfectly. And I'm not going to bother cleaning the stamper. We just want to break up the colour and get a little bit of interest on there. So there we go. They're coming through quite well. And last but not least, I think for this one I will clean the plate. Metallic polishes, you can't get as many goes out of the same plate as you can with a cream polish. It just dries that little bit faster because the particles are just a little bit bigger often, and that means it just is, you need to be a bit faster when you're working with it as well. Okay, so on my thumb, there we go. Now just a tip, if I'm double stamping and all I want to do is add a bit of depth to the colour and just mix it up a little bit, what I'll try and do is choose colours that are similar. So for example, these blues are both metallic. The Hit the Bottle Polish is metallic as well, so that blends in well. Also they're about the same colour depth, so I'm not trying to put a pastel and a dark colour together. I'm using two colours that are about the same colour depth. And what that means is that if I then use something on top of them, it's going to show up. It's not going to get lost. So if I used three pastels together, if I used a pastel, then I stamped a pastel on top as my sort of base look, and then I stamped another pastel on top of that, it's going to get a bit lost. The same as if I use 3 dark colours. So what I try and do is the 2 base colours, in this case the blue and the red. I'm using a similar finish, so I'm using metallic on both, and I'm using the same sort of depth of colour as well, so that when I stamp my last design on, the one I want to show up, there's a bit of contrast left in my colour choices there. So in this case I'll be stamping a light gold over these, and that will show up quite well. Alrighty, on my Vampire is Buff fingers, I just want to put a little bit of gold on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm using Moyu gold. This is a really subtle, rich gold colour. Unlike a lot of colours, it's not particularly opaque, but for what we want to use it for today, that doesn't matter. And it just does give a really rich look to things that a lot of the more opaque golds don't give you. So it's a good one to have in your arsenal. It's not my go-to gold, but it still gives me the look I want when I'm doing things like this double stamping. So there it is, and I'm just going to go over my nail with it so you can see it's just broken that up, just broken that cream colour up a little bit, which is what we want. This look is a fairly feminine kind of look. It's not bold. It's not, we're not block colouring or anything. We're really going the opposite direction to that. So we want to break our colours up as much as possible. Okay, so there are all my nails done with that second sort of base colours in them. So next along, we're going to use sort of the top colours, and today I'm using a gold that is going to be our Messy Mansion gold that should be released in a couple of months' time. It's a light gold. It's a light gold, so it's going to really show up over these colours that I've used here that are quite dark, and that's what we want. Now the plate I'm using for the paisley is a Messy Mansion paisley plate, and I'm going to use this paisley design just here. So for our third layer, we're on with the gold, and this is a full coverage gold. When you're doing this sort of triple layer looks, you want something that's got a decent amount of coverage on it for the last layer, just so that it stands out and doesn't get lost. And particularly this is a fairly dark colours, and I want to put a light colour over the top. So there we go. So we can see that despite the fact we've got a fair amount of stuff going on underneath, that light gold, even though it's a fairly fine design, it still shows up. It doesn't get lost. Okay, so I'll go and do the other ones of these. You don't need to see that, you've seen one. And then we'll come back and we'll just do the accent nail separately. Alrighty. Now, actually we won't. What I'll do is I'll do this gold, these gold and cream fingers. I'll show you one of those. For those I'm using Hit the Bottle Polish Everyday Truffling. It's a beautiful kind of browny coffee kind of colour. I love it. I use it a lot actually. I'm going to have to buy a bigger bottle because I'm going to run out. This again, it's a darker sort of colour. Not hugely dark, but enough that it's going to contrast with our gold. And that's what we want. We just need that contrast in so that you can see the difference. So there we go. So I'm just going to push my finger into that. And you can see that even though there's a fair amount going on there, our final design is really clear and obvious. Alrighty, I'm going to go and do the rest. Other than this one, I'll come back and I'll just show you how to line up this one, and then we'll clean up, take some photos, and we're done. Okay, so I'm back. They're all stamped now, except for I haven't done our final layer on this accent nail. Now, as I said, for these ones, I use this image here off MM48. And last but not least, I'm going to be using Bridal Nail 04, and I'm just going to be picking out this image here. This is a really lovely sort of arabesque image. It's going to work very, very well with this tapestry carpet kind of look. it brings out all that sort of Middle Eastern beauty that those rugs hold. Okay, so I'm just going to be using our Messy Mansion Gold on this one. I've got my stamper clean and ready, so ready to go. Now this one, just because we just have to be a bit more careful with our placing with this one. All the others, it didn't really matter that much, but with this one it does. Okay, so there's my image. Now I'm going to hold my stamper up so I can see what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that I line it up the middle to the middle. So I'll start about here. There we go. So that's our image right down the middle of my nail. I've been able to see where I'm going. Alrighty, all our stamping's done. I'm going to clean up, top coat, take some photos, and we're there. So thanks for watching. As you can see, getting these complicated looks actually isn't complicated. It's just a matter of being aware of what colours you're using and layering them appropriately to get the look you want. Thanks for watching.